Well, hi everyone, welcome back to the channel and thank you for clicking on this video, which is a review of an absolutely impressive bit of kit. It's the HOVERair X1, which is a flying camera. Here it is, obviously in its box, which is shipped in. So the first part of the video is going to be unboxing. I'll show you what you get. And the second part, I'm going to take it out, demonstrate the features and show you a few images and video clips from the camera itself. So if you're someone like me who likes putting pictures on social media, I'm always out filming tents, filming myself in the great outdoors, this really appealed. And my criteria for doing reviews on this channel are, is it something I'm going to use and is it good quality? And if it ticks those boxes, I'll say yeah and I'll try it out. So when you open your package, these are what you get in the box. You get the camera itself, a battery charging hub and some more little packages which obviously contain the spare battery. So let's have a little look at what you get. It's the HOVERair Camera X1. It comes in two colours initially, in the black which I've got here and also a white version. It's very Apple-esque in this packaging. We take it out, you get some documentation here, the usual warranty, bits of instructions and the like. A bit of a prompt card with some information how to initially set the camera up. And this is it. It's really light, really lightweight. I'll put all the specs below, but it sort of weighs next to nothing. A nice thin form factor. You can see the camera lens and the gimbal on the front there. There's a status LED light. This is where you put the batteries. In terms of controlling it, you've got your on-off switch and a mode dial selector which rotates through the various different modes. And when we've got the battery in, what you do is fold it out. You've got some equipment on the base, some sensors and vision sensors which obviously assist in positioning the camera, helps itself with its orientation. But you'll notice that the propellers are fully enclosed in this kind of plastic prop guard, bit of a cage all the way around, so you're not going to nick yourself on this and they're not going to get damaged. Now when you take off, which I'll show you the latter part of the video, it just takes off and lands back from the palm of your hand. It's absolutely really good fun and really impressive bit of kit and technology in this. The guy that created it, there's a video on the website, like I say, all the links are below, and it's just this one shot with this following him round. It's got some really clever technology. It's quite loud, the prop noise, you'll hear that again in the later part of the video, but it's got some special tech. So when you use the app with your mobile phone, your phone acts as a microphone, and the software with the camera and your phone works to take out the prop noise, and it cuts it out so you've just got yourself speaking, so it's near enough silent. So that's really impressive. But that's it, it's nice and robust, folds flat, that can fit in your pocket, easily fit in your rucksack, and for me it's definitely something, or it's something I have been taking out with me to get short video clips and stills when I'm in the great outdoors. We look at what else you get in the package. So this is the charging hub. It is USB-C compatible, obviously there's your input there, and the batteries just slot in and sit side by side. Just click that button at a glance to tell you how much charge is in the remaining cells. Obviously the left hand battery is full, the right hand battery I've been using on a video last week. Just plug it into your power source and it doesn't take very long at all. You'll see the lights flashing. Obviously when they're solid full up there, you know that your battery's full. So that's the battery charging hub. The batteries themselves, quite small, around 7 or 8 minutes use. Now while you might think that's not a long time, this isn't really a drone as such, although it is governed by the same legislation as drones here in the UK. Think of it as a flying camera. So to seat this in the HOVERair X1, the battery just slots in there, bottom in, and that's it. The battery's in, and to turn it on, it's just a long press of this front button here, do all the necessary checks, and then there's some audio prompts.
Current mode, follow.
So there you go, a really posh English speaking voice there for the audio prompts. If you click the sort of selector button here,
Orbit, bird eye, custom, snap, hover, zoom out, follow.
and that's it. You cycle through those modes there and it obviously does a bit of an audio call out telling you which you're in. Obviously you pair it with the app, which enables some additional functionality, including manual control of this bit of kit. But when you're ready to take off, I'm not going to do it now because it's right behind the camera, but you just short press that button and it will take off from your palm. And again, don't worry about the propellers because it's completely enclosed in this plastic cage, and that does a really good job. It doesn't have any vision sensors or obstacle avoidance sensors, but it's absolutely solid. It has collided with a tree branch where it was following me on a bike review last week, and it didn't sustain any damage. It just hit the branch and then sort of hovered in place and then landed itself. So there's no risk of any damage really, because like I say, you've got this plastic cage which protects the props, and it does a really good job. And again, on the base, you've got these kind of feet here which just give it some bit of a gap over some ground when you want to take off from the ground, if you want to do that manually. The final accessories you get this nice soft carrying pouch, just protects it from any sort of scrapes in your bag or your pocket. And obviously I've taken it out there, you get your USB-C charging lead. So that's everything you get when you buy it. You get the HOVERair X1 itself, your carrying case, your battery charging hub, your charging USB-C lead, and 2 batteries. So there's plenty of flight time or time for your photos in the great outdoors. So I've just pretty much whizzed over that. If you want to know any more details, look in the description box of this video. I've linked to the actual website itself, but enough talking about it. Let's get outdoors and actually see what this bit of kit can do, and it is really impressive. So in this second part of the video, we're going to look at how it flies, some of the different modes, and I'll talk you through some more of the specs of the HOVERair X1. In terms of resolutions which you can film in, the maximum is 2.7K. For me, that's what I film all my YouTube videos in. It's more than sharp enough, decent resolution, and you get a lot of detail. So it does 2.7K 30, 1080 60, and it also films in HDR in 1080, so high dynamic range, good contrast in your image. So that's the kind of video technical specs. There's an app which obviously you get with your mobile phone, and the HOVERair X1 integrates with that. You can update the firmware, customize some of the modes, because one of the options on the dial is a custom mode, so you can select what you want that to be. I'm going to be using Dolly Track a little bit later on. There's a really impressive video on the manufacturer's website, and he does a continuous shot for around 7 minutes using Dolly Track. I'll link that below, but check that out too. But we just need a quiet area, some peace, which is harder than it looks, especially during the summer holidays, and we'll show you the HOVERair X1 in a bit more detail. So the first thing to note, like I say, in its packed and folded form, 150 grams, tiny. It's easy to have in a pocket. I've got this in the pocket of this anorak. Weighs, like I say, next to nothing, and for the extra dynamic this can bring to your content, to your pictures, to your video clips, it adds that additional aerial perspective, and that's what it was designed for. It's not a drone. They don't market it as a drone. It's a flying autonomous camera. They wanted as little sort of user input, I think, in faff, so it could just do everything with you. You know, the complexity of flying and controlling a drone and setting up the various different shots. They just wanted something that you can get out your pocket, press a button, quick shot, done, back away, nice and simple. And for me, keeping it simple, it makes sense. So let's look at the first mode, which is follow. So this is follow mode. You use your mobile phone as a recording device for your audio, and like I mentioned, it's got some real clever software which takes the noise of the propellers out, and it just leaves the sound of your voice. So for me, that's really clever. So if you imagine you're on a mountain bike, and I'll overlay some of the footage I've used with this app, great. Imagine you're on a ridge, you want to capture the surroundings. Well, you can go in and tweak details, the distance that it follows you, the height that it follows you, and it adds that great dynamic And if you were filming a rucksack review, and as it happens that's a new rucksack which I've got, it comes in really handy. To land the HOVERAir X1, you simply turn around, face it, put your hand out. So for following behind the subject, that's a great mode. Rucksack reviews, bike riding, walking on a nice lofty ridge. It can follow you up to 20 kilometers an hour, and it also handles some reasonable wind speeds as well. And don't forget those props, they're nicely protected in the cage. So on the next clip I'm going to show you what the noise is like from the props, and just how good that bit of tech is that filters out that, so you can see a without and a with, and it's impressive. I've never seen anything like that before. In terms of landing, so this mode is Dolly Track, and you can just complete those long walking shots and get the drone to veer off in one direction if you change your direction. So it's really handy. It takes a bit of getting used to, but if you're doing a walking and talking shot, and don't forget you use your mobile phone as the recording device for the audio. If you're not bothered about that and you've just got some music over your clips, it doesn't really matter, but it's a good bit of kit. I'm going to go back the way I've come now. So Dolly Track is one of the more sort of technical modes. Need a bit of a chance to get used to it, but really handy for those walking and talking shots. And don't forget, you don't need a controller. This tiny little lightweight thing just fits in your bag. Get this out and it's your one-person film crew. It's absolutely spot on.
Current mode, custom, Dolly Track.
So it's nice that you get those audio prompts that it tells you what particular mode it's on. And obviously the custom setting, you've got to go into the app and choose which of the custom settings you would like it to relate to. Obviously you've just heard it was the Dolly Track mode, which I think is probably fits in most with the content I'll be producing. So it is impressive. I'll show you how it takes off. I'll just put it on hover. So once you select that, just press this circular button here, hold it out in your outstretched palm.
Continue, hover.
So that's it, and then landing the drone, really safe, no chance of nicking your fingers or your hand on the props. And when you want to land, just place your hand underneath. So it doesn't rely on GPS, and that's the great feature. So you can use it indoors. It uses vision sensors to kind of orientate itself. So that's handy and more versatile than having to rely upon a GPS signal. You might have somewhere indoors that you want to film. You might be wanting to show off a house or a unit, something like that. Well, you're not going to get GPS indoors, so this obviously gets around that. And again, another impressive feature. So all I'm going to do now is try some of the other modes. I'll put some text on the screen so you know what's what. I'll get a little bit more footage on this walk and then we'll wrap it up. So for me, I think this is fantastic. I really do. I've got a drone and I've used drones for years on the channel, but the ability to have something so small, so simple to operate, just with your mobile phone, which you probably carry with you anyway, it's absolutely priceless. They're really reasonable, and if you think about the added sort of dynamics to your content, it makes sense. You get 2 batteries, you get this nice carrying case,
and regular firmware updates and easy to use software. So it's absolutely superb in my mind. Sometimes people don't want the hassle of carrying a drone, or the complexities of setting up various different shots, and obviously the huge expense if something goes wrong. This has crashed into branches and it's not suffered any damage because it's got this tough sort of ABS plastic around it. It hit the branch, nothing happened to it, and it gently landed. So that was absolutely fine. So that for me is peace of mind, worrying about crashing it and wasting your money. I like the way you've got included software which cancels out the noise of the props, which, as you've heard on the taking off and landing, it can be quite loud, and that goes for drones too. It's nice and discreet, fits in your pocket, folding design, anyone can operate this. Brings that extra dynamic to your content. Now in terms of pictures, you go into the custom modes and you select snapshot. When you stand still for a period of time, couple of seconds, it will take your picture. I'll do some of that and overlay it now. Now negatives. The things I'd like to see improved on maybe a future version of this device. Longer battery life, but again, you're constrained by the small form factor, and the batteries are physically small in size. And the one other thing I'd really like to see, and I don't know whether you could potentially address it in a firmware update, is the ability to shoot vertical video. Instagram, TikTok, Reels, it's all vertical video format, and this shoots in 16:9, so it's the horizontal video. Yes, you can crop it in third-party editing software. However, it would be nice if the camera could film natively in vertical video. So I've been using this now for around 7 or 8 minutes, and it's given me a warning with regard to the battery life. Swapping the batteries really easy, just slides down and clips in, and that's it. You are good to go for your another 8 minutes of flight. I have to say, this Dolly Track mode is definitely my favourite. It's the most versatile. Want to bring the drone this way, just go this way. Bring the drone back, and just move to my left. So for those walking and talking shots, just imagining myself on Crib Goch. I'm not really, because I hate ridges now, but just imagine yourself now on a ridge. You've got drops to both sides, and you're able to talk to the camera about your experience, how you're feeling. Be a really effective shot, and yeah, bring a real sense of the dynamic to your social media content. Impressive and versatile. So you can also operate the HOVERAir X1 manually. That's one of the custom settings. So go into the app on your phone, change it round to manual, and then you get a bit of an overlay on your mobile phone screen, and you can control the HOVERAir X1 manually, tell it what to do. But I mean, to me, that's not really what it's designed for. It's designed to be autonomous. It's designed to take the hassle out of getting some great photos when you're out and about, getting some simple but effective shots without having to worry about controlling it and potentially crashing it. So that's what I like about it. It's a good bit of kit, and I'm happy to recommend it. Look in the description box below this video for additional information which you might want to check out, and I look forward to using this on most of my wild camps and hikes in the future. Thanks for watching, and take care.